So yeah, hello everyone. My name is Ravi. I'm representing Harsha Training for your Appian training. All right. So before we start, right? So the Appian, as you guys have mentioned, that Appian is a low code platform, right? So there's many tools available which also says no code. All right. So there's a slight difference between no code and low code. Many people think that Appian is also a no code platform, but it's not correct. It's a low code. Still, I mean, you don't have to do much coding just like Java and .NET or other technology, right? But yeah, there will be very few codings and very few concepts of coding that you might have learned in your college, and you might have worked in other technologies like if statement, like you have with the if. Whenever you want to put some logic, right, some business logic, by that time you'll put. Yeah, and you was trying to say something. All right. If not, can you please go on mute? Thank you. So yeah, that's the thing. So as I mentioned, like if statement and then some looping statement, some functions if you want to use on your business logic, right? So those kinds of code you need to uh, use in your Appian development. The codes are not that tough, like in and just to let you know that Appian is built on Java itself. The Appian platform has been developed using the Java code, so many of the coding has been, it will be very similar to the Java. Like Java has itself all its functions and plugins and all, right. So same way, Appian also has lots of functions. I mean, for the designing, the language it's used is called SAIL, self assemble assembly language. Okay, so a self assemble interface language. So in there also you have to do very less coding. Like if you want to, for example, if I say, um, if you want to find a particular position data in your array, so there is an index function. If you want to make your characters in upper letter, so there is a function called upper. So many of the functions will be very similar to your to the requirement. The naming will be very similar to the requirement, the function it will do. All right. So this is what Appian is about. I mean, it's a low code. So in my previous training, many people has mentioned like, no, I thought it's a no code. I'm not sure if I can do it or not. So let me be very clear that you guys will be able to do it very easily, because it's not a very high level language where you need to put lots of effort and all. So it's a very easy. And also Appian suggests every functions in your in your development panel, so you can see it and refer it and then work on it. Okay, this is what about the Appian coding thing. This standards. I just mentioned all these things before because I wanted to. If you have any doubt in your mind that it may be having some many coding that I cannot do it, so take it out and then it will be very easy to perform. All right. Now before we start about the Appian, what's a BPM, right? So because it's a BPM tool, right? Appian is not a free, let's say, code like Java and all. It's a BPM tool which says business process management. All right. So in the business process management, we have three terms: business, process, and management. So what's a business? If anyone can explain me what's a business? So guys, let's make it interactive. We have lots of experienced people here. I may get some knowledge from them, right? So let's do it. Like Kiran, as you said, right? You have about say 30 years. So can you tell me in the business process management, what do you think about a business?
Some transactions happening between them and their customers.
Not particularly only the transactions, but yeah, any requirement, right, that you perform. Business is what any requirement you perform, right? um, if I say talk about in very general term, like if I ask you make a tea, please, so then tea is also a requirement, right? You need to make a tea, so there's a process behind it, right? So you have to do something like you have to pour milk, you have to pour water, switch on the gas stove, and then lots of processes are there, right, to make a tea. So business is nothing but a requirement that clients gives you to do, right, or any user wants to perform, and the same way how you process with that. So there's a process of doing anything, right? So if I ask you, let's go to some college, right? So let's go to college, then you will ready, and then you will get out from your home, and then you will take a bus, and then you'll go, right? So there's particular steps are there, right? And there can be many other steps, like many other process as well. So they're not is it predefined only hard coded one process. It may be based on the um, optimized way, or many other way will be to perform a task, right? So business is going to be a task, or a requirement, or a action a user will perform. How you will process it, that comes into your process. And management, while processing all your data, all your tasks, there will be some data, right? So you need to manage it somewhere, so like in database or in the repository system or whatever, right? So that's a business process management. So what kind of application you expecting in Appian can develop? It's a very genuine question, because if you want to do some development in your application, what kind of application you are expecting here? Anyone can guess anything?
Hi Ravi. So any web app, like mm, probably which stores the library details, any library
Uh-huh.
website.
See, basically the Appian develops such application for like in-house development, right? Like for a if you talk about from banking system, right? So
Mhm.
suppose a customer visits their bank, right, and they said, I want to open an account with you, right? So that's now become an internal process for the bank. So mostly the Appian users are from within the system, like within the manufacturing, or within the organizations, not the outsiders. Like if I say, I want to Google Wikipedia, right? So Wikipedia is for the outsource. I mean, any users can do that, but Appian Appian applications are built for the in-house, like so if I, as a customer, you visit the bank and you said, I want to open an account. Now all the process that bank will perform to create an account to you, right? That application can be built in your Appian. So the third party, the customer who is visiting the bank, has to do nothing with this application, right? Only the bank employee has to perform this task. So mostly application that we do in Appian will be the in-house applications, where the employees of an organization will perform the task. All right. Right now, Appian is now giving you lots of flexibility and creating the web app where others can do that, but no, it's not gonna happen 100% possible, because Appian is kind of it's not freely available thing, and it's required each user to be present within that Appian environment so that they can perform some tasks, right? And Appian is a bit costly as compared to the Java and all, right? So it's not easy to create the like unlimited number of users. So basically, the Appian application are for the in-house employees, not for the outside users. All right. I hope this is clear, right? Any doubt?
Ravi,
Mhm.
in this case, the Appian is something is not available in the web page, right? Is available only inside the organization.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Who the person who has installed the Appian, or the person who is using the Appian? See, Appian is available in two versions: cloud version and the um, in premise, okay, on premise. So now Appian has given the cloud version, but that is not available for the outside of the world. That for the in-house employees only, so they can work on cloud version. And Appian has also given one feature called site, so that will give you a look like that you are working on a web app, okay, but it's
Oh,
not for the outsource. Okay.
okay. That means it's have
Yeah,
both SaaS and PaaS, both. Okay.
correct. All right. Okay, so this is what about the Appian and how it, I mean, what kind of application it does, and we talk about the BPM. So let's go with the slides. So yes, idea to automation faster, we guarantee it Appian low code automation platform. So as the title says, right, its automation is also there. I mean, we can do the automation. Appian gives its own RPA, its own robotic process things in your Appian, I mean, development. So you can create your robots, and then um, perform some task and all, right? So that is a different topic of the Appian itself. Like I just mentioned, automation is available within the Appian. So let me very clear to you guys, and in this a month, maybe a month and 10 days training, we will be learning the pure core development of the Appian, where we will be building an application, and we will be seeing what are the objects we can use and utilize, right? But not we are not going to look for the RPA side, because that's again a different entire topic, and RPA is very new in Appian, and yeah, it's still developing and enhancing itself for the RPA things. Okay,
Ravi, can I ask a question?
sure, sure. Go ahead.
As Salesforce and Appian are similar or different?
Appian and
Salesforce.
oh, Salesforce, yeah. So I mean, concept wise, it's similar. I mean, that Salesforce is also a BPM tool. Appian is also a BPM tool.
Yes, same like we can give the data and we can
Yes, yes.
again flash
Yeah,
the data. Yeah, we
yeah.
can make the switch. The buttons. That's it. That's all, Lina.
Yes, yes. I mean, no, no. The thing is that Salesforce is a different technology. I mean, the Appian is a different technology, right? But the
Okay.
concept wise, both are same. That is also a
Yes.
BPM tool. It's also a BPM tool. Again,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Salesforce is going to use for your in-house development, like
Yes. Business
um,
process.
business process.
I
Yeah, that like
think
creating an account. Yeah.
Okay.
Salesforce is
Thank you.
CRM. How can you say BPM? Salesforce is CRM, right? Is it CRM like APN also CRM, customer relationship manager?
No, not see entirely. Salesforce is not completely CRM. That is also going to use as a
No,
BPM process.
Salesforce maintains Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, that's such type of web applications like that is a customer relation management CRM, like
Yes,
Microsoft
that
Dynamics
is
CRM, Salesforce
correct.
CRM.
Yes, yes.
I
Salesforce is
don't
a
think
CRM
so.
tool.
I think it is
No,
BPM,
no.
right? Completely.
Appian is BPM completely, but Salesforce
Mm,
is also giving you the opportunity to create an application as a BPM, as a background process that
yeah, but
process can be handled.
Salesforce can create web applications. I agree for that one,
Hmm.
but that's not BPM.
But Salesforce is also using for the BPM tools. I mean BPM applications, like uh, any
Okay.
approval process or any
Yeah.
like
Workflows,
kind of
approval
thing.
process. Yes.
Correct.
You're
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. So I mean, people might organizations, whenever they want to develop an application which can be developed in Appian and Salesforce. So there is a competition happens between Salesforce and Appian. So customers should go with the Salesforce or should with the Appian. So if the customer is required, like they also need to build some CRM tools, right? So they definitely go with the Salesforce, because they don't want to have two different licensing, costing things for Appian for a different thing and Salesforce is different, right? If they can achieve both of the things in Salesforce, why do they go for the Appian? Yeah. All right.
okay. If any difference in license wise cost, like is it low?
Definitely there. I mean, yeah, I mean, depends on the like Appian side, but yeah, there definitely there is a licensing costing difference. All right. So yeah, I mean, let's go with yeah. Anything else? Okay. So as I was mentioning, right, what kind of application you can build in Appian. So it's a business process management, right? So what can sorry, what kind of application is there? Like one of the example that is given here, right? Online shopping. People as sending some offer, and then customer will uh, accept it, and then it's a kind of process it is showing here. So what will accept the offer, then what will happen if they decline the offer, what will happen. Such like if you go to the uh, bank to open a new account, and you have given all your data, all your information. What if your data, your documents has not been accepted, right? Then a account will not be created. If the document is accepted, then account will be created, but KYC is required. So all those kind of process and decision making things you need to perform in your application process development. So if you remember, like we have different smart services to perform all this in the Appian development. Like suppose if you want to write some data to your database, so we have a write to data store entity smart service in Appian development. Where you don't have to do anything like making connection strings and then writing all those code for the connection and all. You just have to mention what data needs to be write and where needs to be write, and that's all you have to perform. Then data will be created into your database. So we'll see how a process model looks like and all. Okay. So yeah, we already talk about the Appian, what it is, and then how and what's the current market positioning in the Appian. Appian is highly in demand. There are lots of, even into the during the COVID situation, right? I've seen that many company was not hiring any for other opportunities, but for Appian there was lots of opening was there. So yeah, it's in highly demand in the market right now, and for the experienced people, company are ready to pay like even 100% of your hike. So I mean that's the market posing right now in Appian. So yeah, you see this, right? This is the interface. It's not only onto the tablet, on the monitor screen. You can use on a tablet or on a mobile screen also. It fits. So it auto adjusts its screen based on the device you are using. You don't have to do much coding up, to like differentiate from the screen to screen. Yeah.
So Ravi, this is Prashant. Okay. A quick question is, I mean, from USA standpoint, right? Do you have any idea like APN is still in demand? That is one question. And second one is, because it's a low code, right? I mean, I studied a little bit of Pega too. So what is the difference between Pega and Appian? Both are similar or competitors? That is first question. And in order to compete in the market, I mean, since we are, even though we are experienced people, we don't have any Appian experience, right? So having said that, certification is mandatory. So I
Yeah.
have like these three basic questions actually.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, you said how's the market demand in the US for the Appian? So many organizations, many companies, like you have First Republic Bank, you have like talk about the Barclays, you have the biggest company of the pharma side that is called Merck, right? All are using Appian, and many other companies are using Appian in US. And US, I have seen many people who are working with two different countries through the vendor. I mean, consultancy they are joined, and then they are working for two different companies also. So that kind of Appian marketing positioning is there right now in the US and UK. All right, many other new in India. If you talk about the HSBC, the one of the largest financial branch, right? They are using Appian for entire their working system. Like HSBC has around, I guess, more than 30 plus applications that is working in the Appian. Same way in the Barclays, same way into the First Republic Bank, in the Merck Healthcare, Pharma. You talk about the Johnson and Johnson, they are using Appian. So their Appian is in highly demand in all the places, not only the US. And the second question you saw talk about the Pega and the Appian. Yes, both are again going to be a PPM tool, but now what Appian has does, they have enhanced their interface in a such a way that people are very uh, the customers are very happy to see the UI design and all, right? So they are, and the process is very easy as compared to the Pega in Appian, the process design and all, right? So people might think, because who's already developed the Pega, doing the doing the development into the Pega, and they come to the Appian, they'll say no, Pega is easy. Why? Because they have learned the Pega. But as they compare the licensing cost and then the packages which come with the Pega and the Appian, they are very slight difference. So what happens with the Pega? For Pega, you have to buy, I guess, different licensing for your development environment and then different for your database environment. So I mean, I'm not sure, but this is what I heard that for Pega and all, everything comes with a different licensing, the packages, and then costing is also different. But in Appian, everything comes within a package. You have your Appian development, you have your Appian interfaces, you have your database, and then um, RPA, and then many other things, right? All the things comes with the same package, and the licensing cost is only for the one. So yeah, and people are now migrating many of the applications. Even I have worked for many applications which I have converted from Pega to Appian. So that is what difference between the Pega to Appian. And then you asked for the sorry, the last question. What is what about? Prashant?
Certifications, like without
Download.
certification, can you get the job? Like
Yes. Yes. So now there are three certificates in Appian: associate level, senior level, and the lead level. All right, and the costing is $200 for each certificate. Many organizations which are the partner of Appian, so they give 50% of discount for the partner companies. For like we talk about like Capgemini, they are partner of the Appian. Barclays, they are partner of the Appian. So they get 50% of discount. So they have to pay $100 each for each certifications. So associate level, senior
Certification
level,
is
and lead level.
mandatory to get a job. I mean, does it?
I mean, for any, not only the Appian, anywhere certification is not mandatory, but it is a plus point, right? Like suppose if you are approaching to a company, right, and you are not certified, but the other guy is certified, definitely they will get more privileges, right? So yes, that's what you cannot say it's a mandatory, but it's one that give you the more privilege, right? If you are certified, you are highly.
And this is a proprietary tool, right? Can we download and practice it and all that?
Yes, Appian gives you that feature. Like Appian allows you to download, not download. I mean, it's on the, as I mentioned, it's on the premise and the on cloud. So you can use the cloud version by yourself. I'll be showing you how to, register yourself and then working on it. Okay, so you will have your own Appian instance to do the development. There are certain limitations. You cannot download the packages, whatever you deploy. You cannot upload the packages, some other things, right? So they do not allow you to do that, but you can still do the all the development that you want to in your own instance.
So, in a nutshell, for experienced folk, I mean, in past I was a developer, .NET developer, but now after coming into management and I mean, right,
Mhm.
how we lose our coding skills. So I just want to go on a hands-on project. So I
Mhm.
tried Pega with Harsha Training itself. I tried 2-3 courses, but end of the day, I get discontinued after 20 days, right? But this time I just want to learn. So if we learn this one for experienced folks also, it is okay to learn because it's low code and we can get a
Yeah,
job, right? I just need that kind of confidence. So that is why I'm asking so many
definitely.
questions.
That's what I mentioned in the initially, right? The Appian is the coding is very easy. I mean, the if you are a college pass out, you can also do that, right? I have trained, I guess, 200 to 300 people who are the college pass out and joined the organization, and I train them, and they're doing good. That's kind of apparent skill is there. I mean, it's very easy to learn. It's not. If you talk about the RPA side and if you talk about the automation and all right, yeah, definitely that's going to take some time to learn. But as a basic Appian developer, which is required by the most of the organization, right? The basic development skills you can learn very easily. It's not a hard
And
thing
our,
to do.
sorry to interrupt you, and our course covers end to end, right, Ravi? Like you are covering all the topics in
Yes,
APN. It's
as I
not like
mentioned,
specific.
we will be covering the entire end-to-end development of basic Appian development, but not the RPA side.
Oh, not the RPA. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
because
And
that's a different. We need to do some licensing for the RPA. Need to install, and then there are lots of things other for the RPA. Yeah.
one question, Arsha. So we hear one more tool without low coding, like Uncock tool. Do you know any is it competition to this one, like Uncock?
So there are many tools which are going to, which are hitting the market with the low code, right? But the thing is that uh, how many organizations are already adopted that one and using that one? That's
Okay.
the question.
But
Because
is it completely cloud, right? Can I through URL can I register and myself in developer arc I can practice everything, right?
in Appian, right?
Yeah, in Appian.
Yeah, yes.
Is there any
You can do that.
limitations of duration for that or how?
There was limitation for a 1 month, but you can again,
Okay.
restart. Resume your things.
Okay.
But now they have not limited to 1 month. You can still use it, but the limitation they are given is that if you don't use for the like 5 working days or the 5 continuous that, then it will be deactivated. You have to reactivate again. So
Okay.
that's the thing. Okay, so you need to do in practice daily basis.
And one
Okay,
last question. So
yeah.
this course is how many days? Like, is there a fast track course in
Use
this or?
Yeah, usually it will take 40 to 45 sessions. Um, each session for an hour.
Okay, so it's like
In
it
this
goes 1.5 month.
exactly, yeah.
It goes
But
two
you will
months.
be doing the end to end. So what the approach I take, I basically start building with an application like any option I'll take. For example, lead management system or inventory system, anything, right? And then I start building based on that. So at the end of the session, you will be having one application with you.
And once we
Ravi.
get any job at that point of time, if any support or questions are there, we can call you. Right?
So we try to help you with the if you learn the concepts, you will be easily able to crack the first level, second level, the associate and senior level questions. But yeah, we try to get some, because the Appian has now changed their examination pattern. Sorry. So now they have hired the third party examinee to take the exam, which happens on the online, like video conference, through the video conferencing using a Zoom meeting. So it's very hard to copy paste the questions and all, right? So now we try to get some questions from the market. If someone's remember the questions, okay, I gave, this was the question, I remember very clearly. So we try to organize, I mean, collect those, and then we'll share with you if if we get it. But yeah, proxy exam and all, yeah, we are not doing it, and that's also not possible. Maybe people are doing some, using some software and all, right, but proxy is not possible because they are using the Zoom meeting to video conferencing for the examinations. So you need to be there on bench, and then you need to give your exam by yourself.
Ravi, one more question. To get this job in Appian, do we need to have Java experience and any other coding experience, Ravi?
Not necessarily, because see, as I mentioned, right, if you are even college pass out, right, that then again you can do it, because you have learned this if concept and then looping concept and all in your college, right? So those kind of things are there. As I mentioned, like if I ask you, um, uh, like put some validation. If your value is equal to Ravi, then it should not display a validation. Then otherwise it should display a validation. So what kind of thing, coding logic you will implement, right? You just
Got
say
it.
if
It's a
the name
basic.
is equal to Ravi, then nothing, otherwise some validation, right? So this
Got
kind of concept will be there for your any business logic. But for the like interface designing, right, you do not have to write any code for creating a text field. You just have to drag a text field and drop it to your design development panel, and that's done. Now on that particular text field, what kind of logic you want to implement, those kind of coding you have to perform, very minor.
Okay. Ravi, one more thing, like while getting the jobs with your experience,
Mhm.
along with Appian, they want to have some testing knowledge or any other experiences are required, Ravi,
uh
or can simply go
yeah,
with
I mean,
Appian and get the job.
uh, if I say about testing, right, testing is not only the proper testing you need, right? Unit testing is a
Yeah,
part of development itself, right? And if you are developing some application, you need to perform the unit testing as well, right? So unit testing itself will require some of the knowledge, like okay, if I give you one interface, right, and then I
No,
say,
Ravi, sorry. Let me rephrase my question. I'm asking, like, is there any other experience required along with Appian experience to get the job? Testing is just an
um
example, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just okay, I got your question, I was coming to that point. So see, the one experience is good if you have some database knowledge, like how to create a table, how to create a view, right? And that will help you, because suppose if you uh, get some requirement, right, I need to store this information to a table, right, and that you need to create a table, right? So it's very easy, create table statement and then the column names, right? So it's very small things, if you know, it will be good for you. So what happens, many organizations have their DBA team, many higher big organizations, if you talk about the Barclays, right? So Barclays all used to have their DBA team very separately. They don't allow the other developers to touch the database side because their database is very sensitive, right? So what they do, they say, okay, we have a database team, you tell us the requirement, what you need, then DBA team will create a table for you. So it's there. But now suppose if you talk about the smaller organization, right, I mean, like if they are not have their own DBA team, in that case you need to perform some, create some tables. So
got
if you have the database knowledge, it's good always.
But maximum, how many years can you put experience in Appian?
See, if you're going as a like
I have
if
15
you
years
have,
of experience,
yeah, if
so
you
how
have
many
15 years of
years I can
experience,
put in Appian? Because previously I will add something, but
yeah,
from last
definitely.
5 years or 6 years,
So maximum, see, it depends, like because if whatever, I mean, if you put like 6 years or 7 years, right, in Appian, then what will happen? The question in the interview will be according to that. You can say, right, okay, I was working with Java for last 13 years, and then 2 years I worked as an Appian development, right? Then that
okay.
will make you, okay, you have the knowledge, you know how to handle the thing, because in the 15 years of experience, people will be expecting less from the development and more for the team management, right? Like, okay, you need to handle like 5 to 6 resources within you. If they have any problems in their Appian development, you need to teach them and all, right? So you should know the Appian. So it will be always be good if you go with the lesser experience. Like, okay, I have 15 years of experience. Out of 13, I work on Java, and 2 I work on the Appian side. I was learning, and then I was also doing some development, some basic development. Yeah.
Okay, maximum 2 or 3 is good. You said. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I said maximum you can go based on your knowledge, but minimum you
No,
should
no,
be
not
seeing at least
knowledge.
2.
I'm not sure when this tool gets started because based depends on that one we have to put right because tool gets started 3 years back, but I can't put
No,
5 years.
no, no. I mean, no. Tools started. I mean, like it's more than 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's if you they will ask you like which version you are using. So like every year now from 2016, Appian releases 4 versions every year, like 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, and 16.4. This is the Appian versions of the year 2016, and each version for the each quarter.
Okay, got
Right
it.
now, if you want to mention like I'm working from 2017, so you cannot say that I started on the 20.2 because 2017 it should be 20. 20.17, right? The 17 version, 17.1, 17.2, and like that.
Yeah, got it.
Ravi, which
Yeah,
industry is mostly using this Appian, Ravi? Like, is it
two.
banking industry or
Yes,
medical,
they are financial, banking and financial, and pharma.
pharma?
In
Okay.
COVID, pharma, like if I talk about the one of the biggest pharma, that is Merck, right? Merck has created, like during COVID, they have created like 8 to 9 application in Appian.
Okay.
So is it maintain deployment also, or we need to follow separate CI/CD tools for this?
No, it has everything. Everything is within the Appian. Compare and deploy. It
Even
is in-house. Yeah.
CI/CD also. Okay.
Hello, Robbie.
Yeah.
Yes, we have Java technology like Java, and based on Java, Appian is working, right now.
I
Then
mean,
why
Appian
why
application. Yeah. Go
then
ahead.
why we are going for Appian? We have Java.
Good question. So, um, how do I take this question? Okay. Um, if I
Because
say,
it is
like,
Because it is
do
it is not my questions. One of my friend he's a
no, no,
developer and
that's
Salesforce.
it's anyone's questions, but yeah, fine. I'll give you very, I'm trying to make it very easy to let you understand. If you go restaurant or bar, right? I mean, you order some cocktails or mocktails, right? So the mocktails are, they mix 2 or 3 juices and then give you to the mocktail to serve you, right? The final product. And you can also drink like Sprite and then Thumbs Up and then Coke and all, and then one by one, and right, and then you can use the mocktail product. So what you will use, all three, like the difficult things or the mocktail, which tastes good and then it's very useful to have it, right? So in the same way, Java is having very basic, if you have Java knowledge, I mean, Appian developers are nothing in front of you. It's very
Okay.
clear. But the thing is that if you create such an application using Java, and if you create such an application using the tool that has been built in, like for example Appian, the time difference is very less. Like suppose if I ask you to design an interface like with the 5 fields you made in Java, it may take like 8 hours. In Appian, it will take 10 minutes. So Java built such an application which makes your work easy, right? The tools, that's why it's very high demand. The main concept of Appian development is that it's very fast. You can have an application ready within a day, a basic application. That's what the Appian is, right? So that's the thing. I mean, they have given everything ready to you. If you design a text field in your Java, you have to write a lot of code, but in Appian you do not have to write a code for designing a text field. You just have to drag and drop, that's all. So tools
In
are,
interface.
yes, tools are to help you and make your work easy. That's what Appian does, or any other tools does, right? Not in the development. If you say about tools which fix the motorbike, right? The tools, why it's being used? Because it makes the work easy. You can easily roll the nuts very easily using the tools. So that's what the tool is. It makes your work easy. Life is, that's all. Yeah. But if you have Java knowledge, it always be welcome, and like it's always be good to have it.
Okay. Thank you.
And can you develop public sites without user license? Any customer can use these sites, like or every end customer do need user license for this?
See, Appian also, I mean, the Appian licensing depends on the number of users you are using within the platform. So
Yeah,
Appian application will be,
developer should be have a license. That's okay. I am a developer. I have a license. I created on public site. I want to publish this site. My site will be using thousands of users. But is it thousands of users? Is it required some community users like that or anything?
yes,
License?
in your Appian environment, you need to create credentials for them.
Oh,
Otherwise,
okay.
yeah, otherwise you have to create an APIs for them and then share with them so they can use that API to use your applications. But then,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of things.
But public users can't access. You said that. Okay.
Good questions. Yeah. I mean, it would be good if you can say your name and then, of course, so I can get to know who's asking and all, right?
Okay, Ravi Srikant here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Yeah, Srikant.
Yes, after having a knowledge, means what are the challenges and what are the responsibility roles and responsibility we are getting as a developer here?
So I mean, see, I mean, suppose you get hired for such a company who hired you, which gives you to, I mean, put in your application, which is going to be start from the scratch.
Okay.
So anytime if you start a project from the scratch, that always makes your life easy because you know what to do, and then you can start from the beginning. You can be creating interface and do some business logic and all, right? So you know what to do because you are the person who's getting involved in this all these things. But the problem comes when they ask you to work on a project which is already developed and you need to do some enhancement, right? In that case, first of all, you have to have the knowledge of the business logic. Then you have to find a place where it is exactly you need. I suppose they said, please, on this interface you need to add this particular new text field, all right? And then you have to find where is that interface is, what's the business logic. I mean, is this being used only for this application or not? So all those things you need to think and then you know start the development. So for any development, like like if it is from the scratch or if it is from the existing code, you should not directly jump to the development. You should first analyze what the thing needs to be done. Is what I am going to do is will it make any impact on the other things, other functionality or not? If everything goes okay, then you start the development. Take your time initially first, so you don't mess up the codes, and then you start the development instead of going and starting the development. And then if you are that pro, okay, go ahead, do that. But as a being a fresher or being a very new to this application and all, you should first analyze and then do the development. So yeah, scratching from the scratch it will be easy, but from the existing application it might be a little painful for you guys.
Okay.
So, Ravi, I mean, actually, I just want to move out of the company, right? So, on a lighter note, that's what it's very irritating. I'm doing like a project management role. So, I want to do hands-on so that I don't spend extended hours in my India calls and all that. So, that is the reason I choose this path. So, you are saying there is no fast track, and it is like 2.5. The way you are saying it is like 2 months and 10 days, right? I mean,
No, no, no.
20
I
business
mean,
days
45
meaning.
sessions. See, 45 sessions. I mean, say like each hour will spend 1 day, so around 45 days. That will go on one and a
Yeah,
half months.
45 days meaning every month we'll have only 20 days, right? I mean, Saturday, Sunday, we don't have class in that time. 20
No,
days.
I mean, say, yeah. So, but it doesn't go till 45 maximum because and then last is the week there will be questions and then consulting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing this and all. So 45 days we'll say okay, 45 days will give you the because then I start on another
One and a
batch,
half.
right? Then I'll also not have such times to discuss and all, right? But on WhatsApp, still there are lots of people who ping me and then ask questions on all the WhatsApp.
Okay.
So yeah, but I cannot answer regularly for many of them because it seems like they are asking from their end. It's only one, but I'm getting
Yeah.
lots of messages, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So totally it is a 40. So Feb and March.
Um, Let me
March mid will
see
be
if I
complete.
can like uh, 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 let me share one of the uh,
Sorry,
one
Ravi. I mean, we
second.
are asking so many questions.
No,
That's
yeah,
all. Like,
no, that's fine. I mean, the session is about to ask the questions, right? So it's completely okay to ask the questions. That's not an issue. So you see this, right? This is for the like in August of month we did some demo, right? And then we started these things. So 18th of August it started, and then it ended on we have these are all the topics that we have covered, and we ended on the 30th of September. So what do you think? I mean, how it is? And in between there was lots of gap because many people were not able to join the sessions. So they said, "Can we have some break?" So that we said, "Okay." But you see,
went like
18th,
2 months.
19th, you see 18th, 19th, and then we have 22, and then 23, 24. Yeah, 20 after 26 again we have 30th. So there are lots of gaps, but yeah, it's 1.5 months kind of, and maximum it goes. But yeah, 1.5 months maximum it takes to complete the session.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ravi, I'm just asking, like this is
Mhm.
Kiran. If we
Okay.
have something comes up and if we discontinued, is there any other way we can continue with another parallel session, Ravi, or only
Um,
one?
See, I mean, like suppose if I'm taking a session, right, then another session you can start because there was a couple of incident happened. So what people did, they dropped the session in between, and
Mhm.
then they said, okay, I can continue in 1 month later, and then if any new batch will start in the same time, you can not necessarily you join from the topic where you left. You can start join from the beginning. That's fine.
Okay, okay. And fees and all is automatically accommodated, right, Ravi?
It should be, yeah.
Okay.
And Swapna will be good to tell you about all these things, fees and all, but you can join the sessions.
Will you share the recording videos?
Yes, we do share the recording videos.
Okay. Thank
And Ravi, what is the standard documentation, Ravi, for Appian? Like, is the product itself is released any documents?
Yes, for every release, it releases its a release document where you can go and see what new has been deployed to this Appian, and the instance that you will be working for development, right? Those will be get updated for each time because those are the very latest. Appian gives the latest instance to work on.
Okay, okay.
So I mean, see, if you think about like if you have, I mean, decided to take the Appian and how it is going to be. See, Appian is in high demand place. I mean, that's what I want to tell you. Appian is very highly demandable. Even for the recent time, people were not getting job and no interviews, but for Appian, the company was still hiring. And not only for like basic hike they were getting, if they are good, they even getting 100%. So Appian is that demand in the market right now. In the US, it's lots of companies are using Appian. Many, like all the healthcare, all the financial and all banking, right? They are using Appian. So no worry about it. Appian is definitely going to add some good package to your career. But yeah, you need to be concentrated for 100% of this one.
Ravi, we can think of this Appian life for next 5 years, roughly.
Yes, definitely. Because see, the Appian is now has started because last year itself. Last year, I mean, it's the RP thing is very new in the Appian, but Appian is enhancing every quarter, and day by day, each quarter it's improving its interface, and then the functionalities, and then making development very easy to do. Right, so that's what the one of the feature in Appian is called record. It's very powerful feature in the Appian. It handles everything. Anyways, I'm going to show you the development from the basic. Like I'll be creating the interface, I'll be creating the process model and all. But there's a feature called record, which is the center of the Appian development. From record, you don't have to do any development itself. They will be creating anything, everything for you. You just have to, your data should be proper. If your data is proper, you don't have to design interface. It will give you some design interface for you. You just have to do some modification. It will design a process model for you. So that's easy. Appian is making its development. But that, as I mentioned, like you should be knowing the core thing, how you can start a development and how you will design everything. So yeah, we'll start from the basic. We'll start from creating the folders and everything, right? And then we'll take some application example, as I mentioned, like leave management system, and then we'll be developing all the requirement for the leave management system. And the end of the session, you will be having one product with you that will help you to understand when and where to start, which object needs to be required to do the development and all. Yeah. Because if you do the 100% development from the application side, you will not know what's the constant is, why we need to create a constant, what's the process model, where to change what, right? So that's why we'll do the development from the core, and then we'll learn. Yeah. All right. So is the time is okay for you guys, right? I mean, 8 to 9 is fine, right? IST. Alex, it's for you too late. You are at US, right?
Yeah, it's around 10:20 right now.
Mhm.
It's not late, so it's gonna be usually I sleep around this time, so it's fine for
Yes,
me.
Ravi. It's 8:30 to it's 9:30 to 10:30 in US. So that's fine, actually.
Ah,
It's not too
okay.
late.
Mhm.
We are in PST time, Ravi. I think we are
Okay.
absolutely fine.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I mean, those slides that I was showing, it has all the things that we discussed already, right? So if you have anything else to ask, you can go ahead. Or I'll be showing you some, okay, let's go with the slides. Few more things are left, which might help you to understand few of the things, and then we can, like architecture and all, and then we'll uh, see what to do. Yeah. Let me share my screen back.
Ravi, the previous point, if I understood correct, like as part of the training, you are going to create, you are going to explain how to do the development and all. And along with that, you are going to teach how to create the project and all, right, on our
Yeah,
own.
I mean the process will be like this. See, there are two ways of the training. The
Mhm.
the other way is that topic to topic wise. If I go to topic wise, you will not know when to use what object, right? So that is for the like who is already know about the Appian, and then they want to improve themselves, right? They
Yeah,
know
yeah.
basic things of the Appian or BPM tool. But no, if I ask you to develop an application, right, then you have to think, right? Okay, when do I need to create an interface? When do I need to create a record? When do I need to create a report and all, right? So that's why what I do, I start for a application development. I take any scenarios, and then based on that scenario, we'll start the development of the application. So okay, we understand. Okay, this is a point where we need to use the create. Now, let's go and start creating the record, right? Let's go and start the creating of the process model. So that's why you will be able to understand the technology and then create the entire application by yourself.
Okay. In this whole process, we can think the theoretical is 40% and practical is 60%, Ravi?
I mean, 40% theoretical, see, that will be too much. Like, you will be doing practical for each and every topic.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
for any reference for a topic, you need to know what the thing is that what we are doing, right? And then we will do the development. So every day you have to do hands-on. And then one more thing, guys, I'm like, if you don't do the practice, many people what they do, right? It's a very genuine thing. It happens with the people. They say, okay, I have the recordings, I'll see it later, and then I'll do it. Please don't do that, because uh, that will keep pile up your topics by topics, and you will at the end of the thing you will say, okay, I didn't do the practice, and I thought I'll do it because I have the recordings, and you will be left somewhere else. So every day you do the practice, it's not that tough, so it will be easy for you and for me as well. And then ask questions. See, the thing is that from the from the trainer side, I'll try to put all my effort, I'll try to say, but sometimes what happens, there's some topics, some points I might left, right? So if you ask the questions, I will cover that as well, right? So keep ask the question. Today was a very interesting session. It was a very interacting. So yeah, same way I would like to continue if you while the
And
development, right?
how much coding, like how much percentage involved
No, no,
coding?
no.
Like,
It's not that much coding as I mentioned multiple times in this as well. It's very less.
okay.
So
So like
designing and all is a drag and drop. You can
configuration.
drag and drop the thing. Yeah, you can drag and drop the things, but the logic and none of the technology can give you the logic coding, right? So that logic you have to build by yourself.
Okay, good.
Okay, so and Appian it has its own database as well. That's called MariaDB. It's very similar to the MySQL. Initially, it was MySQL Server, but now they have changed to the upgraded to the MariaDB. Why? Because data can for the in-house application development, data can be a lot, and then MySQL was not that good to handle data in based in terms of indexing. Indexing is very required to if you want to fetch the data faster from the system, indexing is required. As compared to the MySQL, MariaDB is much better to handle the indexing and retrieve the data faster. So now Appian has upgraded from MariaDB to the MySQL to the MariaDB. So it has its own database as well, but it's not like you cannot use the outsourced database. You can still connect to the outsourced database like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, all those database you can connect from a third party. This is the one of the Appian site interface. It's nice. They have given lots of chart options. You can use charts, bar chart, column chart, line chart. All those things is there. So your reporting looks very fancy in Appian. You see this all these charts and all. Yeah. You see this image. This is nothing but a process model. So there are this in the process models we use in interfaces we will use functions, right? But in process model we will be using the smart services. Like if you want to send an email to a customer, right? So this you don't have to do anything. You just have to configure to whom it needs to be sent, what's the email body, and what's the subject line. You don't have to do any connection thing and all, right? And then send the email. The email smart service will take care of it, and it will send an email. Yeah, so people were asking, right, who are the clients who is using Appian? So these are the clients who are using Appian. You see the pharma list, it's high, and like Merck, Pfizer, Johnson, Janssen, they all are using Appian. Bayer, this is one of the bigger company of the who's using the Appian. Merck, yeah. So
Sir,
yeah, this
this is Prashant. One question.
yeah.
So, see, actually, I worked on Pega projects also. So, Pega, what happened is, whoever the Pega developers, right? These guys, they started learning Appian because saying like Pega is going to fade off. Okay. So, likewise, will Appian become obsolete at one point, and again we have to learn so many things. Already we are old. We can't learn
Definitely.
so many
See,
things. You see?
yeah, definitely. Nothing is permanent, right? Nowadays, Appian is there. Like Pega ruled, right? If you talk about the past, Pega ruled like 20 years. If I correctly, right? Many of the in-house development was using Pega. There are lots of organizations still using the Pega, right? And for the larger project, right? People are afraid to switch to other language, but at some point of time, they will definitely do it, right? Because the technology will become older, right? And then it won't fit to your requirement. So you have to do that, and company will do that. So now they are moving from Pega to Appian. There will be some days where they will move from Appian to something else. So you cannot say that if I learn Appian and I'll be like I'm sure secure for my lifetime. That's not gonna happen, right? So definitely, but yes, Appian has started like 10 to 15 years at least, right? But now it's in highly demand. Right now, Appian is at the high, at the peak. So yeah, it will be on the peak for some years for sure, and then saturation point will come and it will go down. But yeah, that will take 10 to 15 years to do so. Like so, yeah.
Yeah, 10
So
years is a
no
good
worry.
number, Ravi. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Okay, it's a product demo. Let me show you some Appian how it looks like, and then we'll discuss about creating your own setups and all, right? So before that, let's go for the Appian architecture. So this is the basic Appian architecture. Likewise, the any other application or any other languages, Appian also has three basic design: the front end, the back end, and this data. Right. So front end, that will go as an interface. Back end, the processes, what it uses, and then management, that is called data, which database it uses, and all. Right. So front end, if you talk, we have tempo and sites. These are the you can say as working sites, working page for an user, where user can go and work it and start the work, create an instance, create a workflow, and all. Right. And then we also have an embedded interface. So embedded interface is like if you are using a third party application and if you want to use some of the features of Appian, like interface wise on your application, you can do that. You can display one Appian page in your third party application, which might be built in Java and all. Right. So that's possible, which is very rarely being used. And designer, this is for the developers, where user can go and develop the applications. And then admin console, where we can set some admin uh, features, like adding the users and setting up the file type, which file you are allowed to the system to be uploaded, creating the users and all. Right, definitely. And then having some connection instincts with different database and all. Right. So all those things we do. Now, if you talk about the backend services, so yeah, it uses the we have APIs and integrations which connect. Integration is used to connect to the third party to retrieve the data from the third party, and API is to connect to the third party, where you can uh, expose Appian data to the third party. Yeah. And then the process modeling and all that happens in the designing, and which web servers, Apache web servers, and the Oracle, WebLogic, all those things is being used in the backend. And the data management, as I mentioned, it has MariaDB inbuilt, but it can also connect to the MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server database. Also, it can be connected. It also has its own file repository system, where you can upload your documents. You might need to upload your documents for some of the requirements, and then you can keep those documents on your system as many number of time. But it will be always suggested, if your document is not required, keep delete it. Like suppose if you are generating any file to download, right? If user has already downloaded it, then it's not dependent on the system. So why to use the Appian memory? It's delete it from there, right? So once user has downloaded it, so those kind of things are there. And it also has its own search server. As I say, like, if you want to, you will be creating lots of rules, right? If you want to do some search, where is my rule, then it will be very easy to retrieve it. So it's have own search server. Okay, let me show you a Appian page, how it looks like, and then we can do this. We can discuss all the setup things and all. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, Ravi.
All right. Yeah. So this is the Appian look. This first page. So as I mentioned, I'm not sure if I mentioned, in Appian you can create two kind of users: a basic user and the system administrator. Basically, the designer and the basic user, right? So basic user will only have the access of your tempo. So this is called tempo page, and then the sites or the sites. So these two things are being accessed by the basic user. But system admin can access your entire thing, where you can see the designer and admin console. Will look one by one. So you see this this is the URL of my site, and then we have tempo. So this is a tempo page where we can see the 5 tabs: news, task, record, report, and action. So news task is like for if you has any your company wants to put some any news feeds there, that will be showing up here. The task is for like in your application, if you have any task assigned to you, then you can come to the task tab, and then you can see all the tasks here, and you can click and you can perform your task. If your application has any record created, you can see all those records listed here, and you can work on based on the record. You can open your application record, you can open it, and you can perform any things to be performed. Similar with the reports, if your application has any report, those report will be listed here, and then you can see what the report says, what the things and all those things you can see it here. So this is the Appian report. And then we have actions. So actions are basically if you want to trigger a new task, like if you want to initiate a new application for your leave, right? Then you can come here and you can initiate your action from the action tab. So this was very old. This is very old that app people uses in the Tempo. Every organization has now moved to the sites because that sites gives you the look and feel wise. It's very like look, you are working on a web application. So let me give you some example of a sites. These all are the sites. So let's go for the Acme solution site. Now this is a site, right? Now this is a record that is showing here, and then add vehicle to fleet. This is going to a new action. It's a fleet report. So whatever you can perform in a Tempo, you can perform it here as well. So now people are moved to the site because it's very fancy in look wise and all. Okay, so these are the two interfaces we talk about, Tempo and sites as a front end. Okay, now let's go to the designer. So as I am system admin, I can see Appian designer. So this is the designer environment where we can go and perform the development. These all are the applications. You see, these all are the different applications. Yes, and in one Appian instance, you cannot like it's not like you can create only one application. You can build many applications, right? And you can have different access for those. So that security level is also very high in Appian. So these all are the applications. If you create open any of the applications, you will be able to see all the objects that are used to build this application. If you go to the build, you will be able to see all those objects that has been created for this one. So these are the interface, constant, process model, and all, right? If you talk about the process model, let's open this process model, and how a process model look like, we can see it here. Okay, so this is the process model. All right. So this is about the designer environment. Now let's move to the other environment. So you can click here, and then you see at admin console. So in admin console, we can see like what kind of file upload we can perform, what is the user, what kind of authentication we can have, all those things you can perform in an admin console. So most of the organization don't give you the admin console access because they have a system architect to do so. But yeah, but many organizations also gives admin console access, and then you can perform it. I mean, if you require any action. But this is very highly sensitive, because if you do any changes, it will reflect all the applications. So you need to make sure. And then we have cloud database. If you go to the cloud database, you will be able to see your functions, procedure, and tables, and then views. So you can create tables and all, and then you can utilize in your Appian. And yeah, so these are things are about the Appian. Yeah.
Hey Ravi, this is Arjun here. So when you go to the database, right, will there be like a separate database for each application, or all the application specific metadata will be in one database?
Not required. You can use the same, and if you want to create database itself, you can create it. But yeah, I mean, whatever you can perform in a database, you can do it here as well. But it's just you have to do that kind of connect. You need to add it. That's all.
Yeah. So my question is, right, let's say there are 10 applications, right? So before you went to the screen, right, where you can see multiple applications, right? So each application might be in performing a different functionality, right? Something might be like a sale, something might be related to some operations, right? When they create the application, it need databases, right? Like a tables that it need tables to populate the data, or to retrieve the data, right? In that scenario, normally all the applications tables will be stored in one database, or is it like a separated, each application?
Right. If you don't create any other database, it will be get stored in Appian database. You see, it has created Appian database for you, right? And in Appian database, you have multiple things. So if you don't want to create a different database, that is also fine. If you want to use the same, that is also fine. Whatever is required.
Okay. And going back to the architecture, right? So you mentioned, there is other types of databases we can use, right? Other than MariaDB, is that like we can use as a replacement of MariaDB, or MariaDB will be always there as a metadata
No,
database?
MariaDB is for Appian in-house database. It is giving you the MariaDB. But now, suppose your organization has some data in Oracle, in SQL Server, right? So you don't need to bring all your data to it within the MariaDB. Not required. You can directly connect to your Oracle and SQL Server, and you can work with that. Okay.
Can you use
This is
SQL? Can you
sorry.
use SQL code in this?
Yeah, it's MySQL. MariaDB is very similar to the MySQL. So
Okay.
create table and update table. These are all are same. Not
Drag and drop. The little codes will be used in this, right?
in database, no drag and drop. You have to create a table, but yeah, it gives you the, like, suppose if you want to create a new table, right? So
Okay.
you just give the name, column names, and then say save. Yeah, so you can create it. All right. Any more questions? It was really good. I mean, that session was very interactive, and lots of questions was there. It's nice to have it. So let's connect tomorrow at the same time, and try to be on time, and then we'll do your account setups, and then we'll decide the topic. I mean, decide the application what we are going to build, and then we'll start the development straight away. All right, guys.
All right. Thank you for answering all our questions. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Follow Alex. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ravi.
you everyone for joining. Thank you.